Hey, everybody, welcome to today's show. Welcome to Advocate Information Highway. I'm your host, Anthony Lorito-Duke, and we have an interesting topic for today's show in which it is Biden sent 1,500 troops to the southern border. But before I get into that, I wanted to apologize to all my fans out there. I've been gone for quite some time, but I've had a lot of medical issues going on. And So I'm back hosting some shows, and I'm still going to have to be dealing with a lot of medical issues. So I might be pausing again some of my shows for a while, eventually, in the near future. But anyways, I'm doing them again now. So let's get right into this topic of today's show. Biden said sent 1,500 troops to the southern border, and that's great. And that 1,500 troops, yeah, that's a lot. But that's putting a Band-Aid on a wound. That's not fixing the problem. Okay. Um, and that's just at the southern border. Let's not forget one thing. The issue also extends to the northern part of the border as well, because there's a lot of illegal immigrants that are going through Mexico and going all the way up to Canada to go through Canada into the United States from the Canadian side. So, you're just focusing on one area, and that's a big part. Yeah, don't get me wrong, but um, you're putting a Band-Aid on a wound. You got to fix the problem. You got to fix the problem. You know, um, like I said, 1,500 troops. Yes, that's a lot. It's a start, but that's just putting a Band-Aid on a wound. That's not going to fix the problem. So, you got to really work with Congress and fix the broken border system. You got to face it. You got to face it head on. Screw the my political base or this and that, all that. Screw all that. You gotta be an adult, and you gotta be professional, and you gotta face these things head on. Because let me tell you something. In 2 more days, Title 42 goes bye-bye. And that's going to be a major problem for the United States. And that's going to cause a major, 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 major increase of illegal immigrants into basically every state throughout the United States, including the Democratic states. So, there's already a lot of Democratic cities and states that are having this problem already. And they're saying this is a White House, federal government, Washington, D.C. problem that they need to fix. And let's not forget one thing. Come next year is election time. President Biden, you're running for re-election. You don't need major problems hanging over your head going into the elections next year. The federal government just did another increase hike in which it's expected to bring down inflation by the end of this year and into next year. But you're also looking that there's a looming recession that's most likely inevitable. You don't want that hanging over your head going into an election next year. You don't want the problem of major immigrants being overpopulating every state throughout the United States, because you already have a lot of Democratic cities and states that are having this problem, and they're blaming Biden. Democrats are blaming Biden. So you got to fix it. Yeah, this debt ceiling issue. Okay. Um, in which you could just invoke the 14th Amendment and, so we don't, so the government doesn't do a shutdown, you know, you could avoid a lot of these issues already and stop waiting till the last damn second to fix stuff. So, we wait till the last second. Fix it now fix it now when you can still. I mean, really, waiting till the last second to do things, that's stupid. You got to be professional and you got to be adult about things. So really, let's get the acts together and just you could put in the 14th Amendment and say that resolves that problem, right? Well, a lot of people like it. No, but tough crap. Too bad. It has to. This needs to be fixed. You can't go into a default. Okay, the law says you can't even go into a default. So, as in Biden, you don't want this looming over your head going into a re-election next year. You don't want it. So, just do the right thing and invoke the 14th Amendment, put it into place, and say, that's it, done. Until we can come up with a better plan and stuff like that. And here's the thing. I give credit where credit's due, and if a person is right, they're right, no matter what political party or whatever. And all my fans out there know, I call it right down the crack of the line. Kevin McCarthy actually made a good point. When he gave a very good example not too long ago in which he said, if you have a child and you give your child a credit card and they go on this major spending spree and spending foolishly and stuff like that, you have to be the parent or legal guardian and set the rules and regulations. Say, no more of this foolishness, and discipline your child, right? And say, you're not going to spend foolishly anymore. Because if you keep doing that, we'll take the card away from you or whatever, and teach your kids the right way of spending, right? And smart, not stupid, right? Now, that's a very good example. He was absolutely right. Call a spade here. So, he was right in what he said. Now and I'm not saying, now here's the other thing. It's not stupid spending when it comes to like Social Security, veterans, and so on and so forth. There's a lot of wrong things that are in the Republicans' bill and stuff. That's just completely wrong, But here's the thing: you got to look at everything and say, and be honest, and say, let's just keep the important things, the really important things, and let's cut the fat, cut out the stuff that's stupid that we don't need. We don't need, and get smart. Do smart spending, not stupid spending. Excuse me. And just do things the right way. And with this nonsense with the tits for tat and all this other garbage, and both sides want to stay strong on the stances and stuff. And they don't want to give in and everything. And so it's just to fix this particular problem, just invoke the 14th Amendment and then just go back to the drawing board and say, what's the fact that we can cut? What are the things that we really don't need? And what are the things that we actually do need? Seriously. And cut out the stupid spending, the things that we don't need. So, and just be honest about it, and at the same time, try to economize and say, you know what, the things even that we need, can we combine things and stuff like that, and so it's not so as expensive and whatever, and merge together things if you have to as well. So that's being honest. That's doing things the right way and the intelligent way, the mature way, the professional way. You know, so um, these are the things that need to get done. We could avoid a government shutdown. We can avoid the debt ceiling issue. Okay, the federal government just did another rate hike, and this is expected to be the last one. And by the end of this year and into next year, the inflation is going to go down. Okay, and that's a good thing. But now we got to say, okay, we dealt with these issues. What's the next issue? What is the next issue? The next issue, the next major crisis, is you have a looming recession, which is basically the inevitable. It's unavoidable, but is it going to be a soft landing or hard landing? And how quickly can we do the landing? Right now, with the other part is the other major crisis is the huge population of illegal immigrants coming into the country. We got to be honest about things, ladies and gentlemen. Be honest and say, this is the problem. We need to fix it. How do we fix it? You put a Band-Aid on a wound. You send 1,500 troops to the southern border. And that's all fine and dandy, but that's putting a Band-Aid on a wound. That's not fixing the problem. And like I said, the problem isn't just at the southern border. It's also at the northern part of the border. It's all around. Like I said before, you got a lot of illegal immigrants that are going through Canada, that are going through Mexico and into Canada, and going through Canada into the United States from the Canadian side of the border. So you got to fix it all around. Now, not too long ago, Biden came up with a pretty good plan about flying immigrants into the United States, and through certain programs and stuff like that. And that's a pretty good idea. We can go with that and have it for basically all illegal immigrants in a way. That could help the issue. It's a good plan. It's a good idea, and we can make it into with the proper blueprint and stuff like that, and and have it fixed. And so we could face these issues. We could face them and fix them. Because you don't want these problems looming over your head going into next year. Like I said, we have the elections coming up next year. You don't want that looming over your head, Mr. President. You don't want it. And so, because right now, especially with the immigration problem, you got a lot of Democratic states even going against you. Because, especially like New York, you got New York going against you right now, President Biden. Does not look good for you in New York. So you got to fix things. Properly fix things. So, and anyways, I wanted to remind all my fans out there about the business that my husband and I have together called AWLDNY. The link to there is awldny.com. You guys can check out all the items on there. I also wanted to remind all my fans out there about my other business, my other website that I have called Advocate Information Highway. And the link to there is AIHNY.com. Again, that is AIHNY.com. You guys can check out all the pages on there. And so with that, take care, everybody. Bye.